Good afternoon, Professor Bhaskar. IIT Madras recently went through an exercise of drafting its strategic plan 2020, and it's about to be published shortly. Can you outline some of the key elements of the strategic plan?
Yeah, see, we had a strategic plan for the last decade also, and in fact, we did a pretty good job of meeting all the objectives, I would say, of the strategic plan, and most of them with a couple of years to spare. We started this exercise in 2011, and some of the elements of the plan, which I will discuss briefly, we started implementing because they were pretty obvious things to do, and we started implementing them even in the last 3 years. Some of the other aspects of the plan took us some time to develop and most importantly to arrive at a consensus on, because an institution like IIT Madras is not run top down, but it's run actually through the consensus of all the stakeholders, in particular the faculty. And finally, I think when we had the consensus through a process of I would say a large number of conversations, and including conversations with external stakeholders and in particular alumni, I think we were ready to capture all the ideas in the form of a presentation, which we then again evangelized at as many places as possible. Finally, once we had converged, we converted into a document which is now coming out in print. The key aspects of the strategic plan are to have one overarching goal, which is then met by several other subsidiary goals or objectives, which cover all the major activities and stakeholders of the institute. So the one overarching goal can be stated as, how do we become one of the top universities or institutions in the world, not just in terms of ranking, but in whichever metric you use to measure, which is relevant to the IIT. And we may not be the very best or even in the top 10 in everything, but at least we should be in the top 50, no matter which metric you look at. So that's sort of the way we have captured the overall objective. Then that is, the academic course programs matter for this, the research matters for this, the infrastructure matters for this, the industrial consulting and sponsored research that we do matters for this. Our contributions to national objectives, whether it's all the challenges that the country faces, water, energy, housing, healthcare, everything matter. Our contributions, these matter. Our outreach to the community at large, both local as well as national, and to some extent I would say global, matters. Our international relations with other universities and exchange of faculty students matters. Our ability to tap our alumni and also give them a way to continue to contribute through the IIT, in addition to what they may be doing in their own lives and careers, is also matters. So these are all the pillars, and the key stakeholders are basically the internal stakeholders are faculty, students, staff, and then external stakeholders primarily are the government, the students, and so on. And we have to define, drilling down into the details, how each of these stakeholders should function to meet the subsidiary goals on each of these, whether it's the course programs, research, industrial consulting, incubation, internationalization, any one of these things, alumni relations. How do we meet the subsidiary objectives such that finally that objective is met? There is a graphic in the strategic plan that I think captures this very well.
So over the past few years, the focus on research has been increasing on campus. The number of research scholars we have, the PG students, has been steadily increasing. But at the same time, the undergraduate course program also remain important for the mission of the institute. So how do we plan to keep our undergraduate students on the right path, given that they are now coming from very diverse backgrounds, and also they have very diverse aspirations when they leave?
So that's the first point you noted is the most important point, that first we have grown due to our own aspirations in the late 90s and early 2000s, and subsequently due to a government decision. We have grown in numbers to 8,000 plus now, of whom about 3,500 are undergraduate students, and about 850 odd come in every year. As you rightly pointed out, they're the larger number, and they are coming in from very diverse backgrounds. And times have changed. Today, the student who comes in has many different aspirations, or different students have different aspirations. a small number, in absolute numbers they may not be much smaller, but in fractionally they are smaller now. A small number want to go for higher studies and become qualified in PhD and so on. Fractionally they are much smaller than what it used to be in the 70s and early 80s. A large number want to go into a job and then maybe do business and go to business school. And now we are seeing a surge. I think it's an oncoming surge of interest in becoming entrepreneurs and creating startups. So there's a huge array of options. I think options have increased for the students also, and therefore we have to make sure that our undergraduate program remains globally acknowledged flagship program, and yet cater to the large numbers and the diverse aspirations of the students and their diverse backgrounds. So they all come with different baggages, and we have to be able to deal with that. What we are proposing to do, therefore, is to introduce more diversity into the course programs. We want to restrict the fraction of core courses to around 50%, and let the students decide what they want to be through the electives that they take, through the minors that they take, through various combinations of courses that they take, so that they can train themselves towards entrepreneurship or towards a career in research or towards a job and probably business school later, by shaping what they take. And it doesn't matter what degree they've enrolled into, because that process, which is as old as the IITs now, is not likely to change. I think people have to choose their branches when they come in due to the various limitations of our admission structure. But I think that doesn't prevent the student from becoming, taking a shape in the way he or she wants to be, rather than just be defined in one template, the way most of us were in the 70s and 80s.
So we want our campus to become as renowned for PG education as for UG education. How do you propose to make that happen? Yeah,
so IITs have always had PG education and research even from the time they started. But starting at about 2001, 2002, and then now clearly enunciated policy of the Government of India, there is a huge drive to build up the strength and quality of the PG, particularly the PhD program. The money for that has been provided, the equipment, the research facilities have been provided. We are also seeing a surge in interest in doing PhD from the huge undergraduate and postgraduate population in the country, even outside the IIT system. In fact, but this is a huge challenge, because this is something that we've been doing in a small but careful way all these years, and now we are trying to scale. So what we are doing many things. One thing is, just like the US universities, we are trying to tap into the best outgoing undergraduate students and trying to make it attractive for them to commit themselves directly to a PhD program, the way IITians still do and used to do when they go to universities in the US. That program was launched only a year or so ago. In fact, you can pretty much say it was something that is part of this strategic plan. And even in the first 2 years, first year of launch, it's been very successful. Already in the current year, almost 25% of the PhD students are people who are committing themselves to do a PhD after their BTech or BE, and have very good academic performance in their undergraduate program. We are also, increasing our international linkages with universities all over the world, setting up collaborations between faculty, leading to co-supervision of PhD students, and opportunities for our PhD students to go and spend maybe a semester at a collaborators lab elsewhere in the world, and vice versa. Because this will really make up to a great extent for the lack of diversity, international diversity on our campus, and also give exposure to the PhD students who probably otherwise may not have yet experienced very different kind of working environments or thinking environments. We are also sending all our PhD scholars to international conferences, and the research infrastructure on campus has improved dramatically in the last 10 years. So I would say pretty much that it's not probably comparable to any place in the world, except probably in one or two very specialized things which may be there only in certain places. And so these are all the things we are doing, and our real focus has to be on the details of getting the quality up. We are encouraging our students and faculty to publish in better and better journals, the same journals in which the faculty in the top 50 universities publish. And all of this will take time and will require work in the trenches. This is not something you can initiate from the top, but if we do it right, I think in a matter of 5 to 10 years, you'll see the difference.
So in terms of the research that's being done, I think we have been broadly classifying it into 3 categories. The fundamental research, which leads to journal publications, translational research, which basically leads to industry products, and then there is a transformational research that has impact on society as a whole. So how do you plan to facilitate our faculty that are working in these different areas, and how can we achieve the best outcomes?
Right. You know, basic research is sort of the bread and butter of any good university, and translational research is also something that engineering schools always aspire to do. And these have been done at IIT Madras over the years, and we have just ramped up our support for this. This transformational is sort of a variant of translational, where the impact of the research is not just an industry. Of course, any consequences of our research that is useful to the public at large will go through industry naturally. But the transformational research is research that leaves a high impact on people's lives. India has so many challenges in whichever sector you take, whether it's of housing, healthcare, education, water, transportation, energy, that if you do research that leads to very disruptive and new solutions to these challenges, it has tremendous impact on people. We are referring to that type of research as transformational research. And we leave it to our faculty to decide what they want to do. This is the ultimate litmus test for academic freedom. Faculty can do 1, 2 or all 3 types of research. And as I said, for basic research, we want them to publish in the very best venues. Already it is estimated that 10% of our papers are among the top 10% cited in the world. In that translational research, we are encouraging through a tremendous ramping up in our industrial consulting and sponsored research center, which is a single window for all such work in the institute. We have set up a patent office, we have set up a technology commercialization office, we are reaching out to industry, and we are sending faculty to industry in summer for Industry Connect program to enable them to understand the real deep needs of industry. The transformational work is something that every now and then, every one or the other of the faculty that you find, a large number of them on campus who are driven to do something for the country. And if we find that they are heading in some direction which is leading somewhere, we give them all the encouragement they can. And I'm happy to share with you that today, in the areas of housing, in the area of healthcare, in the area of energy, and in the area of water, we have technologies and systems which have the potential to make huge impact in the country. And therefore, of course, going all the way requires an enormous amount of work and cannot be done only by IIT. We work with industry, we work with government. We've set up a center for technology and policy because we found that in many cases we need policy intervention, and we need good papers, good scholarly work on how the technology and policy interact. So we are setting up all the missing pieces also to enable this to happen.
What role do you see for Research Park in our strategic plan 2020?
So the Research Park is of course the crown jewel in some sense of what we've been doing in the last 10 years, starting with the last few years of the previous strategic plan period. We are the first in the country to set up a research park, and now other IITs have begun emulating it. It is nothing but translational research brought next door. So we have already 50 odd companies in the first phase of the research park who are working closely with us on a day-by-day basis in a common network of faculty, students and their own researchers. And now we are expanding that threefold. So what I see is a huge, and then what more important thing is our own startups, our own students and faculty startups are now embedded in that ecosystem. So what I see is a tremendous increase in the quality and quantity of translational research and a huge upsurge in startups and entrepreneurship because of the tremendous pull of the ecosystem. This is what I see as the relevance of the research park.
Infrastructure on campus, if you look at the development of that, there are several constraints to be overcome. How do we plan to manage that?
Yeah, so there's no fun in life, there's no challenge. So one of our challenges is that we have one of the most beautiful campuses on earth and we have to keep it that way. And yet we have to grow and we have to build and we have to do all of this. and that's a challenge. And we recognize that it will always be good to have some elbow room. So we are working with the government to see if we can get some more land not very far away from here. And it looks like we might get it, but it's not clear how easy it is to, because Chennai has grown and it's becoming very difficult. But I think the government of Tamil Nadu is doing all it can to find something for us. In the meantime, we have developed a second master plan. This was done in the early, towards almost the end of the previous plan period and starting with the new strategic plan period. We finished it even before this strategic plan document was written and drawn up. But we have a second master plan now, which we are following in adding our facilities. Mostly we are doing vertical construction and we are adding whatever buildings we need. The other big challenge is to actually create infrastructure which is world class. We have moved on from the days when we were happy with functional buildings. We now want to build buildings that are really well built and built to purpose and maintained well. There are challenges here which we have not yet licked, but I think in this strategic plan period, we will probably move to the stage where our campuses will be no different from campuses anywhere in the world.
There are many significant centers emerging on campus. What role do you see them playing?
So a lot of the work now, as everybody knows and is fond of saying, a lot of the work has become interdisciplinary. And you need large groups of faculty from multiple disciplines and students from multiple disciplines to work together to achieve anything worthwhile. This is true for basic translational or transformational research. It doesn't seem to matter which it is. And particularly for transformational research, it's absolutely vital. So what is happening is faculty choose their, as I said, choose their what they want to do in their lives. But whatever they do, if it turns out that they're onto something good, they usually form large teams and they form centers. And at last count, we have 16 such centers on campus, and they are covering all the areas that I've been mentioning. And we encourage them. We encourage them to form these centers. We give them infrastructure facilities. We give them all the freedom they need to operate. But these centers are, in some sense, virtual centers. Administratively, they don't exist. They are just groups of faculty, and whatever temporary administrative support they need, they get it. But ultimately, faculty belong to departments, and if some area begins to become less important, the center will vanish. But in its heyday, it will hopefully generate a lot of useful research for the country and for the world.
Of course, manpower is an absolutely important component of all this. I think we have been quite successful in recruiting young faculty. How do you plan to maintain that? And
so the graph says that starting 2002 or 3, I think we've done 30 to 35 faculty members per year recruitment every year. And that was done in the previous plan period, and we are doing it even this year. Every one of the years since I took over, 2012, 13, 14, we have done that. We will do that for the remaining, till 2020. And our estimate is therefore that net of retirements, we will reach a faculty strength of 700 plus. We are also having emeritus faculty from the best of our retiring faculty. We are having visiting faculty. We are having chairs. So all put together, we'll probably come very close to the sanctioned faculty strength of 800 or so. And we are also proposing in the new strategic plan to recruit what is called professors of practice, not uncommon in the United States. These are people from industry who have tremendous experience in their specialization, who have a sort of experience in translational research. Their role in the IIT would be, there will be a small number of them. Their role will be to supervise students in their specialized area, to teach their specialization whenever possible, but more importantly to connect IIT Madras faculty with industry and generate new avenues for translational research. So we are going to create some of those. So I think all of these will address the faculty manpower issue. We also rationalized and restructured our administrative staff. We have made it now, we have taken advantage of a demographic change where the age profile of the administrative staff is going down rapidly. We are now providing the new generation of non-teaching staff a career path in each of their ladders, and providing an environment where the ones who work hard and the ones who strive will go ahead faster. So I think between these two, we hope that we will have a efficient and lean both support system as well as a very, very strong faculty faculty strength in the campus.
And we have also recently introduced some incentives both for young faculty as well as senior faculty to strive towards that.
So one of the things is that both faculty and staff need a very clear reward and incentive structure. And what we've done for faculty is, in addition to the reward structure through the promotions from assistant to associate to professorship. We have created, we are now creating chair professorships for beyond the professor stage for those who continue to excel. We have created a bunch of awards that recognize outstanding work, both in teaching and in research. And for the non-teaching staff, we have created, as I said, an accelerated career advancement ladder for those who really go out of their way and work very well. They can actually, we made it possible for somebody to be really aspirational, to join the institute as a junior assistant or as a junior technician and go all the way to the senior technical officer position or to a deputy registrar or registrar position. A lot of the young India is today very aspirational, and we want to enable that to be possible.
So you seem to have a fairly clear vision of where we want to take the institute in 2020. What role do you see alumni playing in this development?
It was, last Friday there was this first of its kind meeting of the directors of and chairman of IITs with the President of India, in which the Prime Minister was also present briefly. And the Prime Minister actually highlighted this aspect, and he said that you should reach out globally to alumni. He was not even particular they should be your own alumni. He said they could be alumni of the other IITs as well. But he said basically you should reach out to them not just for what they could do financially, but he said more important for what they could do with their time and their experience. And I'm happy that we had started a process in the second half of the last strategic plan period, to have build up an office of alumni affairs and reach out to our alumni. And we have really intensified that in this plan period, even before the plan document has been sort of written and printed. We have upgraded this to a deanship. And we have really, whatever the Prime Minister mentioned have already been launched in a big way here. We have faculty coming into the campus almost every day. Alumni coming into the campus every day. We have a large number of alumni talks. We have alumni mentoring our startups in our incubation cell. We have alumni participating in so many ways. Fundraising is just one, I would say, important but small part of it. And we are looking to alumni to actually help us achieve our objectives and exceed our objectives of the strategic plan. Our alumni, our faculty, alumni who are in universities all over the world, including the best ones. In fact, I think some study found that our IIT Madras computer science alumni are in fact the largest in number in the top universities in the world. We want them to come and help us really, rapidly scale the ladder of academic excellence. We want our industry alumni to help us increase our translational work, both in quantity and quality. They are doing it, and all of this is happening, but we want that to happen. We want them to help our students and faculty with their startups, and we want them to share their experience so that this diverse student community with which we are dealing with can get what it needs from a variety of people. It's not enough for them to get it only from their friends and from the faculty of the institute.
Bhaskar, thanks for spending time.
Thank you very much.
Taking us through this.